connect and vibe. Yeah, what we doing now? It's Nisha's network, y'all.
It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah.
Connect and vibe.
It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Connect and feel the vibe. Connections make you feel alive. We do this every day. Let's put your business on display. Network, let's heal and pray. It's our love, we here to stay. Trust in God, he'll lead the way. We on right now, no need to wait. Let's go. It's Nisha's network, yeah. It's all about connecting, yeah. Let's go.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to Nisha's Network. Super excited to be here again for another segment of Nisha's Network. And today I have a very special guest that I am honored to have here. This is none other than my cousin, Jeff Mimms Jr. Hey, Jeff.
What's happening, Nisha? Hey, before we get in, I need to get in on the remix of your intro because I was over here vibing. I was like, oh, so we didn't even get a chance to get no solo on that one. Okay, that's fine. We're just gonna kick it off like that. That's cool.
Yes, shout out to my cousin DeVille out in Los Angeles, who's the he actually wrote the song, and
It's dope. I like it.
So really grateful for him. But anyway, we are here today, and I am honored that my cousin, who is now resides in Florida. Which
Yeah.
part?
West Palm now, but I've been living in Miami for the last 4.5 years.
Okay, West Palm Beach,
Yeah.
Florida. But today's segment is called Embracing It All. And because we had the privilege recently to attend our grandparents, which Jeff Jr. is actually me and Wes's godson.
That's
But
right.
he's our cousin too, though. But he
Yeah.
was Wes's godson before he was my cousin. But it's all intertwined. But
Absolutely.
he's family. And so we don't say in-laws or cousin-in-laws or
That's
brothers-in-laws.
right.
It's just my cousin. But anyway, let me just say this. We had the opportunity to really dive into a very great celebration, and that
Definitely.
was of Grandma and Grandpa Mimms.
Yeah.
Their 100th would have been their 100th birthday celebration.
hmm
And so the family got together and absolutely amazing. And so I want to talk about that today because Jeff was there, and I mean, he brought it, y'all. He just brought it. He dropped the microphone as he always do. He could do it for entertainment or he could do it for teaching and principal purposes, okay? But before we dive into embracing it all today and just talking about you, Jeff, and just some things that you can drop some knowledge to us, I
hmm
want to know, you give everybody a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself first.
Man, it's always weird being on this side of the screen because I'm usually in your chair interviewing. So I'm usually like a deer in headlights when I have to be interviewed. But sure. Thank you for that introduction. First of all, thank you for having me too. Nisha's Network is definitely one of in my playlist often. And I think it's just a dope platform that, so many people don't realize that networking is the key to any business, to anything. You know what I mean? You never know. And it's also important in life too, in terms of your network of people. So you really don't realize the value in a network until you get older. So again, thanks for having me, Nisha. And a little bit about me. Just a little kid from the south side of Chicago.
A little
Jeff
kid, come on, little kid.
Just a little kid. Don't let the grays and the beard fool you, But yeah, born and raised on the south side of Chicago. My parents are Gloria and Jeffrey Mimms Sr. And man, I literally didn't realize until later on in life that I would live up to my nickname that my grandfather gave me, which was World Traveler. And we'll
Oh,
talk about
wow.
that. Yeah. Grandpa Mimms gave me the name of World Traveler, and he called my mom the Road Runner. So he said, my mom's always running the streets, which she is. She can't sit down for nothing. Mama's always got to go somewhere. I learned how to window shop from my mama. So that's a fun fact. But yeah, so, born and raised from those two lovely people. Grew up on the south side of Chicago. I have one sibling. He's an actor, Jason Mimms, who lives in LA. Shout out to Jason. He's
Shout out to Jason.
definitely doing his thing. I feel like I look on the TV now, and my brother's on pretty much a lot of the networks that I watch already. So he's got shameless plug on him. He's got a new reoccurring role on Cherish Today on the OWN network. And he was also on TB1 for Montrose Blood Rules. So, shout out to my brother doing this thing. That's my only blood sibling. So,
Yeah, you know, see how Jeff, you are immediately flipping the script, and now you're doing the shout outs. We gonna hear me talk about you. Jason's gonna have his day. He's having his
I
day.
know.
I gotta bring the spotlight to you.
That's the big brother in me,
I know, and that's also the entrepreneur in you, and
Absolutely.
the person who's gonna make everybody shoot to sky levels beyond. Uh,
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. But yes, I want to say, talk about a little about when you graduated from college, where you graduated from, and then what made you start the career you're in now.
Okay, great question. So, shout out again, another shout out. I'm a proud alumni of Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. It's better known as the Black Man's Harvard. And I went to Morehouse, but I actually want to share this story with those that might, struggle. So, a little bit about, since we are talking about me, I was never a like honor roll student, right? So, school was something I always struggled with, and I say this for anybody that might be struggling. This is something I also tell a lot of kids that I mentor. They sometimes say school's not for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that is the truth, but it's really more so about learning your learning patterns, right? So I'm more
Yeah.
of a visual learner versus something that I might read. I might not comprehend it the first time. I might have to read it several times or whatever the case may be to grasp it. But once I can find some things that really kind of speak to me or something that's visual to me, that's how I learned a little bit better. And I didn't really hone into that skill set until I reached college. So said that to say that I wasn't a great tester. And my, it's not to put her on blast, God bless her, but my guidance counselor in high school told me that I would not graduate and I would not go to college. And it wasn't that I tried to prove her wrong, but I knew that God had something other planned for me, you know what I mean? And that she wasn't the end all be all of what would have been my life. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did a year at a junior college, which was Harper College in Rolling Meadows, Illinois. And I saw my first honor roll. That was the first time I
I
actually
didn't know
made,
that. I thought you
yeah.
went straight to
Nope.
Morehouse.
Nope. Because I didn't do well on my ACT or my what's that? The ACT and the SATs. I didn't do well on those. And she said, with these scores, my guidance counselor said, with these scores, you probably won't be able to go to college. Why don't you look into, getting a trade or finding a job straight out of high school? And I was like, what? No, I'm going to college. And so when I went down to Morehouse to visit, they were like, well, listen, why don't you come in as a transfer student? There's less applicants as a transfer student. And that probably will better your chance to get into Morehouse. And again, I share this story definitely as something that I want to enlighten and share to other people that when one door closes, obviously there's obviously another door that can open. And I'm a living testament of that because, I went to, I said the junior college and I got a letter in the mail that said, you've been inducted into the what was it, the dean's list, or you made the dean's list, right? And so I was like, the dean's list. I'm like, man, I'm over here working my butt off and trying to get good grades. I'm like, and I'm still getting in trouble. Why am I on the dean's list? And then my mom said, no, crazy. That means that you're on the honor roll, that you did good. I was like, oh, well, why they just ain't say that, So literally got really good grades for that 1 year at junior college. And I was able to come in as a transfer student at Morehouse College, did 4 years and graduated at Morehouse. So a very long-winded story is to let people know that resilience is something that's real. And again, don't be discouraged if, one thing doesn't work out for you, because again, I was pretty much an average student, all through high school, all through grammar school. And it wasn't until college that things started to come a little bit easier for me academic wise. And here I am with a Morehouse degree, one of the most prestigious HBCUs in the country. So definitely grateful for that journey.
That's phenomenal. Now,
Yeah.
I want to pause right there and ask you,
Mhm.
what do you have to say, as because I thought you were talking to me, because it was like, I'm a visual learner as
Yeah.
well. I can read, but I don't retain. But if I have a
Mhm.
picture behind what I read, I retain very well, like instantaneously.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend to parents who like are maybe a little discouraged because their student or their scholar is not advanced or not reaching the highs on the SAT and the ACTs these
Yeah.
days, what would you recommend for parents, to do with the students?
Great question. Shout out to my mom because you have to pay attention to your kid. And of course, this is not saying that parents don't pay attention to their kids, but
Many
she was
don't.
able to catch on. Yeah, I know, right? She was able to catch on at a very early age that I was squinting and I couldn't see the chalkboard. So it wasn't that I was just failing because I wasn't retaining information per se. It was that I literally couldn't see. And so she put me in a vision therapy for this eye doctor. Shout out to Dr. Stephanie, who was my optometrist my entire childhood. And it was Plano Optometry. I think they're still in Hyde Park or right off of 55th now.
Yeah, we have no shout out. Shout out to Plano. Okay,
Yeah,
come on.
that's gonna be it. I'm always gonna do it. But anyway, so they were able to identify that there was something going on with my vision, and you really don't take your sight for granted sometimes, or you do take your sight for granted for sometimes because your hand-eye coordination is one of the things. How you learn is a different thing. So literally, I had to go through all this extensive eye and brain development training through vision therapy, all through grammar school. And then when it started to get into high school, I've worn glasses since I was in the first grade. And then, some of these exercises they were doing were helping me with my development. So my advice to those parents is, pay attention to your kids. Sometimes it's not just surface level. So maybe it's something going on with the vision. ADD is one of those things that we joke about sometimes, but that's a real thing too. So sometimes it may take you a little, to this day, I literally have to have something in the background playing just so that I can, concentrate on what I'm what I have in front of me. So it's not even that, the noise is distracting me in the background. It's my thoughts in my head are so on the go all the time that sometimes I just have to have music or, old TV rerun in the background just so I can pay attention to what's in front of me. So
that is something. And I'm quite the opposite. I have to have total silence.
Complete silence. Yeah.
In order to really hone in. So wow. Okay, so let's get off into talking about your business because first of all, I just want to say Jeff is the ultimate host. Let me just say that. He is the ultimate host.
Thank you.
He is the ultimate master of ceremony. Okay. Let me just say that. He is. While you were in Chicago after you got back from college, I know you launched a business called Sky Level Enterprises. And I think it's Sky Level Entertainment too, right?
Well, it's enterprise. It's always been that, but sometimes people say, yep.
Time I think about the entertainment piece of it because I know you were doing a lot of shows and different things like that and intros. But tell us a little bit why you launched Sky Level and what does it do? What is the business for?
Absolutely. So to complete the story, after I graduated out of Morehouse, I was actually thrown headfirst into entrepreneurship right out of college. And the reason by that was 2007 is when I graduated. That was the crash of the economy the first time.
Yeah.
So when we went into recession, when I was going on job interviews, they were saying you're either overqualified with a degree or you don't have enough work experience because I was in school for 4 years. Or 5 years in my case. But I was like, okay, cool. The good thing about that is my cousin, Johnny Franklin, another shout out. Johnny Franklin basically saw something in me as a kid. And since the age of probably 11 or 12 years old, my cousin would, bring in, and I think this is really smart too for anybody that's developing a business and anything like that. You want to always tap into not only the demographic that you're appealing your business to, but the younger demographic, right? Because we're going to get older and some of our mindset and some of our thinking is always going to be of that mindset of that generation. So if you can tap into the youth, you kind of can forward think of, okay, well, this is where things are headed. Let me go ahead and get somebody that's younger on my team so I can kind of stay above the curve. And that's what my cousin did. He saw me playing basketball in the backyard one day and he said, hey, come here. We want to ask you a question. And he had his own company. It was a marketing company called Spellbound Marketing Group. And so he was saying, we want to get your perspective on this. And so it's a team of 6 people, 6 adults. My cousin's maybe about 15 years older than me. And they asked me whatever question it was, and the room got silent, and they all looked at each other and said, that actually makes sense. And they said, okay, I want you to come back in a week, and I want you to have 5 bullet points prepared for a presentation, and I want you to start coming to these meetings regularly. And it's something to go to your friends, and you're like, guys, I got a meeting. And you're like, dude, you're in 8th grade. What do you mean you got a meeting? And I was like, no, seriously, I got a meeting I got to get to at 8th grade. And, again, I appreciate an elder putting me under his wing that early on. And so all while I was through college, I would come home during the summer, a struggling college kid saying, hey, cuz, do you got any work for me to do? And he said, okay, you know what? I want you to get some of your group of friends together. I'm working with this marketing company called 5 Times Deuce. They need a street team, and they want you to manage the street team. And then I started managing the street team. And then I had a host of promotional models that would invite people to come out and get people to sign their mailing list. And so Deuce was one of the leading promotional marketing companies in Chicago. And he saw my work ethic, and he was like, okay, I know you're in college, but when you graduate college, I want you to come work for me. And I was never in 1,000 years would have thought that I would be working with him, because I was in school to get a degree, and the American dream, once you get your degree, your life is set and you're going to go have a great career. And literally, as I graduated from college and wasn't getting any job offers, I was working with him on the weekends. And I remember him saying, hey, if you take this serious enough, this will sustain you. He was like, why don't you start your own company? And my cousin, Johnny Franklin, and Deuce, basically both coached me into becoming an entrepreneur. And I remember I had $200 to my name. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start my own company. And so Sky Level Enterprise was born right then and there. I started doing events. My first event was my birthday party. So for those that don't know, my birthday is New Year's Eve. And so I invited all my friends and family out to my birthday party, celebrate New Year's Eve. And this was kind of what cemented me starting my own company. And my cousin was the manager at Paget's nightclub. And he pulled me to the side and he said, hey, man, do you see how many people just came out for your birthday party? I'm like, yeah, but it's New Year's Eve. And, people were going to come. He said, no, but they could have went anywhere else in the world, but they came here to come celebrate with you. And he said, yeah, I think you got a knack for this marketing and promotions. He was like, why don't you jump for, both feet in? And I did. I took a leap of faith with $200, started my own company. And again, I had really good mentors. Johnny Franklin and Deuce Powell are definitely two people that I always will revere as taking a young kid and molding him into who you see today.
Wow.
Because literally these are older people, and it took a college kid and took some of my ideas and showed me that it was possible and that you can create the type of lifestyle that you wanted to live off of your own two legs, if you will. And yeah, I didn't have a corporate job until maybe about 8 years ago. So all through my 20s and most of my 30s, I was an entrepreneur with my own marketing company and did, if I say humbly, I was pretty much so one of the top promoters in Chicago. And I say that very humbly because there's a lot of them out there, but definitely was in the discussion of some of the top promoters in Chicago.
That is so wonderful. I mean, I knew, but I didn't know the background.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's pretty phenomenal. I know one of the things you say is aspire to reach. And I said, because the sky is the limit. So you
Absolutely.
took a leap of faith with $200 and said, I can do this. But it took somebody to actually see you and to say, they believe in you or they
Yeah.
see your gift. And I know the Bible says your gift will make room for you. And it just made
Absolutely.
massive room for you. And now you're traveling the world and working for the company you're working for. But I want to veer off just a little bit and veer
Awesome.
into the fact of how you spoke so eloquently about family and the importance of family. And you
Yeah.
said you don't have a choice for when you're born or when you die, but you're responsible for the dash in the middle. And I think we were speaking to letting bygones be bygones. So while we're embracing it all, your career, your entrepreneurship, you're a mentor, business owner, employee for corporate America, and this, that, and the other, but yet and still embracing it all and family.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, 100% my family is my anchor, and you can always see my face light up when I'm referring or speaking to my family or talking about my family. And it's only been like that because you guys are my strength. You guys are my backbones. And now here's my shout out to you. I started to embrace when people started to pour into me. And you specifically, Nisha, pulled me to the side when I was in high school and said, there is a gift that is inside of you. And you said,
Oh,
you might
wow.
not see it right now, but you need to listen to that voice that's inside of you, because you're going to leave your lasting impression on the world. And that could be heavy for a kid. I'm like, well, let me turn it off. Like, no, I don't want that. You know what I mean? But you saw the God in me, you know what I mean? And you saw something very much so, like I was telling the example of my older cousin as well, on my other side, Johnny, that you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And mentorship and leadership within a kid's life is so instrumental, right? You want to always encourage your kids, because you never know what that will do for a kid, right?
Yeah.
And you want to pour into that kid, because they want to get not only just the affirmation, or they don't want to get the recognition sometimes from their family members, which we all yearn for,
Yeah.
but sometimes just knowing that you can empower a kid by just giving them a positive affirmation, or just some type of direction of saying, hey, you're an amazing person and you're
Yeah.
going to do amazing things. And as cliche as that may sound, that might just be the that somebody needs, you know what I mean? So I take very seriously the genuineness of who I am, right? As men, we've been taught as a society that we have to dumb down being so vulnerable, and you can't be so, expressive, and you got to hide it and be tough on the exterior, right? Which I'm all of those things. I don't shy away from being an alpha male, but I lose nothing. And this is another thing that I live by. I lose nothing by being a good person to other people, right? And it's not for the other person. I'm doing it for myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm doing it because that's what the word calls on us to be. So when I think of my family, who has helped create the man that I am, it's only right for me to hold those accountable that poured into me. It's almost just like practice what you preach, right? You're
Right.
telling me that I'm great. You're telling me to do these great things, and then you can't do something that's ugly. So now, as loved ones, we gotta come to a coming to Jesus meeting, if you will, and say, listen, you've raised me this way. You told me don't not do as I say and not as I do. No, I'm asking you to do exactly what you're saying, because you
Yeah.
can't tell me that BS and then
Yeah.
go do something opposite.
Right.
You got to
Right.
practice what you preach. So accountability is something that I take very serious, and my loved ones are no exception to that. So I'm an accountability partner to all of my family, because I want them to hold me accountable. So yeah, that was really what it was about, embracing, the legacy of our grandparents who have sacrificed everything to provide for this family, and all of the traditions that we had, all of the things that, we stand for as a family. United we stand, you know what I mean? And that's what I only can identify. And that's what I always come back to Chicago for, is that foundation, to be empowered, to keep moving forward. And if I can't come home to my family to recharge, that's a problem. So we got to fix that. And
Yeah.
that's what really compelled me to say all of that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I also want to give a shout out to you, because I was thinking about this, and I know that me and Wes, I interviewed at one point, I think it was in 2020,
Mm.
Wes and Javon and my brothers, who my brothers, yeah, my brothers and my son-in-law,
Okay.
and Terrence and Javon and our son. And
Mhm.
we were very transparent about things and different things like that. But I want to give a shout out to you, because you know that G and Wes had some, distance between them for some years, and God restored that. Thank you, Lord. But I
Absolutely.
want to say that you and Jason were so instrumental of staying connected. That
Yeah.
part right there, no
Yeah.
matter what the other stuff was,
Yeah.
you literally like came in and scooped up in areas where there may have been some voids. So I'm going to say
Mhm.
personally, thank you. I'm sure Wes says thank you, but I'm going to say thank you, because it takes family members where there may be some turmoil in one area. It doesn't mean everybody has to walk in the
Yeah.
turmoil. It's like dive in where you can
Yeah.
and get what you can do, because everybody can play a part into building the bridge.
Absolutely.
Everybody can play a part. So I want to say thank you for that.
No problem.
And even just kudos to how you are very intentional about being encouraging to everyone, no
Yeah.
matter the age group. Jeff comes in and he just, like I said, he drops the mic, he steals the show.
I
He
hope I don't steal the show. That's not the intention.
Well, stealing the show means that you know how to arrest an audience,
Yeah.
grab everybody's attention and bring them together in love. And everybody doesn't have that gift to do that.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
thank you.
it's just acknowledging that it's not for fluff, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I mean about being genuine, right? Being genuine is a little bit different from the cliche phrase of everybody saying, I'm gonna just keep it real, right? Because
Oh, people say that
95% of
phrase.
people, exactly, 95% of people that say I'm gonna keep it real are not keeping it real.
Not
Like,
keeping it real.
absolutely. Oh, I'm a real one. I'm a real one. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? But if you're being genuine, that means that you're being true to who you are, right?
Good.
Genuine doesn't mean being real per se, right? Genuine just means that you're authentic in your real self. So whatever that is, if you're a jerk and you're being genuine, I respect the jerk because you're being true to who you are.
That's
And
good.
I know how to perceive that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And
so
that doesn't
good.
mean that we don't have to coexist, but it does let me know how to limit my engagement with that person. I know what side of the fence you're on, and I know how to act accordingly. So when I say I'm being genuine, you got to attack the things that's real issues. And again, I don't do it for the accolades or oh, that was nice to say. And to your point about Javon, that's my brother. Like that's the little brother that I didn't have. You know what I mean? So we have this picture that we always post around their birthdays that Jason, Dana, and Javon are all born days apart. They're all cancers. And then I'm the oldest out of that group that they just stuck in the picture. And I'm about 3-4 years older than everybody in the picture. But it was my cousin Mike that actually brought it to my attention. He said that wasn't done by accident. He said they put you in that picture to look after that tribe. He was like, you were the leader of that tribe. And I didn't realize that that's what that was, whether it was done intentionally or not. But I felt it was my obligation to reach out to my cousin and let him know that, hey, man, no matter what that rocky road or, that uncrystal stair that you guys climb, we're still family. And I can't change the things that happened in the past, but I'm doggone sure going to make sure that the things in the future are a lot filled with love. And it's almost like it was a lapse in time, but we've made up for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't get back time, but however, it seems so seamless. If you see the three of us together, you would swear our entire life we've been like that. And we pretty much have been. But that was a relationship that I needed. And I didn't realize I needed as well, as much as when I moved to Florida with no family or friends. And Kalani and G were living in Jacksonville at the time. So they were my only family that I had in Florida. Mm-hmm. And it was such a refreshing recharge that I had. And the way the guy works, now they're on the West Coast with Jason. So now he gets to benefit from that. So it was not an accident, and God knew exactly what he was doing by making sure that we solved that relationship.
That's so cool. Hey, you guys, if you have joined us, I'm having a candid, wonderful, loving conversation with my cousin, Jeff Mimms, who is the founder and proprietor of Sky Level Enterprises. And he is an amazing individual, a mentor, a leader, a businessman, entrepreneur, and beyond. I think I'm gonna call you a serialpreneur.
Well, some of your aunties call me a Jamaican because I'm always working. I'm definitely a hustler. I'm not afraid of hustle at all. So
yes. Well, I am just so grateful for our conversation today, and I think that it really has it's enlightening and it's opening eyes. Definitely. But if you guys are interested in Sky Level Enterprises, tell us a little bit about what you're doing now in terms of who's pulling you in the arena and under which part of your enterprise with Sky Level. I keep wanting to say entertainment, but it's not entertainment. But let me tell you,
the ENT part that always throws people off. Yeah,
Jeff was the host for Kristen's wedding shower reception. I mean, I told y'all he just drops the mic. So he is the guy and does it with grace and love and so much fun. I mean, hilarious. Jason has the comedian, but I think he must have got a little bit from you too.
We always had a debate because he, I've actually done comedy shows. So when you get him on the show, he always claims that he's a comedian, but he ain't been in the realm of comedy like I have. He's had a couple comedy shows. I'm just joking. But no, so it's funny that you mentioned the hosting thing and emceeing. So I guess to start with present, to date, I've probably done close to 20 weddings, all by word of mouth of emceeing. And MCing was something, or master of ceremonies, because it's always funny when I say MC and people think I'm a rapper. I'm a singer, but I'm not a rapper. But yeah, so it was a talent that I did not even know I had. To be completely transparent, I created a music program, which kind of brought me to where I am in terms of my career now, with my company, Sky Level Enterprise, in collaboration with my cousin's company, Spellbound Marketing Group. And we created a music program called Jackin' for Beats. And it was sponsored by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. And we were really, really on a
I think I have that
shoestring.
hat. I think
Do
I have
you?
that hat, Jacket for Beats. I think you gave one to
Nice.
us, and I
Yeah.
wind up wearing it to the gym. But
That's
anyway,
all
go
good.
ahead.
All good. So yeah, so basically we created this music program and we were on a super shoestring budget. And so we were looking for celebrity guest hosts to fill in. And we had one of our to make the program a little bit more authentic. We had a host that was an MC, Twan Gab. Shout out to Twan. And Twan was the MC, but he didn't know all of the verbiage or the I guess you could say the parameters that we had to operate within for corporate America and for a national sponsor like Jack Daniels. And so I told Johnny I'll co-host, just so I could keep him on track and give the brand a shout out and everything of that nature. So this was my first time jumping on the stage, really taking hosting serious. It was 2 times in my career that I jumped on stage, and this was the second. The first time was when I was doing comedy shows and promoting events in Chicago. Again, working off a shoestring budget. You ain't got a host budget, so you got to be the host. And so hosting really found me because I didn't have any money to pay a host to do it. And I was received well. It did feel good, but the corporate sponsors, Jack Daniels, pulled me to the side and said, "Hey, man, you really have a natural talent on that mic as a host. Why don't you just become the host of the program? Like, it's your program. Nobody can speak about this program better than you.
Wow.
So why don't you become the host?"
Wow.
And so I was like, all right, cool. And so literally I became a host. And then I started getting more positive affirmations from people. I would do things and just being silly on stage, and people were like, "So what radio station are you on?" And I'm like, "What? I'm not on a radio station." And then they're like, "So what other shows have you done?" And I'm like, "I haven't done any other shows." And so it started to become evident to me that if other people were taking me serious,
Yeah.
that I needed to start taking this hosting thing serious. So I would just study the greats. Like, I come from the generation that 106 in Park and Big Tigger in the Basement. These were some of the people that were on TV, and I started seeing that some of their style and how they would conduct. I mean, of course, I come from the Arsenio Hall genre as well. And then you think of Vibe. I'm telling my age for sure, but TV shows like Vibe. I'm looking at all these late night show hosts, and now some of the newer hosts that were hosting. I'm like, oh, okay, I could do that. I could, kind of study this and put my own twist to it. And that's how the birth of me becoming an MC or a hosting personality became.
Wow.
And we toured with Jack Daniels for 4.5 years. And I have been on television. I've been on the radio. I've interviewed probably every celebrity I've ever wanted to meet. And then the call comes through from my little cousin, Kristen. And she's like, "Hey, cuz I see you doing your thing on TV and radio. So me and Terrence are getting married and we want to hire you as an MC for our wedding." And I'm like, all right, so I'm on the stage doing, these shows. I'm like, I've never done a wedding. And it was easy for me to do because it was my cousin. So I could say some loving things about her at the reception. And then from there, it just snowballed. Like, everybody started coming up. "Oh man, I saw you at such and such wedding. I never thought to hire a professional MC for the reception. Why don't you do my wedding?" Like, literally, my god brother Derek, I'm at his wedding in the DR. His DJ canceled, and the DJ didn't speak English. So it was Hispanic DJ, but he needed somebody to speak English. So threw me on the spot again to be an MC for his wedding. And I got booked for another wedding at a wedding. So his cousin was actually getting married about 2-3 months later. And they're like, "Can we hire you? We need you this." They flew me out and put me in a hotel. I'm like, "Oh, this is a business now."
It's a
like,
real thing.
this is okay, cool.
Yeah.
So started getting business cards printed up and everything like that. And that's just one of the many services that I offer in Sky Level Enterprise. So it's truly an enterprise. Marketing is still my passion, but hosting is something that I really, really genuinely fell in love with and have taken seriously. So by the grace of God, like here I am, 8 years later. Not only do I work for Jack Daniels, the company that started off as my client, they hired me as well, but I was able to sell that asset to them. Me and my cousin sold the Jack and for Beats asset and kept the legacy alive. So my brother Jason is now the host of the Jack and for Beats program that still tours to this date. So, it's kind of like a great feeling that you still have your footprint on something that you created that started off in the basement of my cousin's house. And now I work for this number one whiskey brand in the world. I get a chance to go all over the world for this company that I work for. But it all started from an idea that started in my cousin's basement, and again, created me another lane, because again, I would have just been marketing, and had it not been for that program, I would have never thought to be an MC or a hosting personality.
Wow. What an amazing story. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, if you are looking for Mr. Jeff Mimms with Sky Level Enterprises, you can contact him at skylevel52@yahoo.com or jeffthehost@gmail.com.
That's right.
In 2023, there's some amazing things coming, so you need to follow him on
Absolutely.
Instagram, follow him on Facebook, follow my cousin, Jeff Mimms. As somebody
Absolutely.
said, this was so great. Yes, it
I
was.
appreciate you
You're
guys.
amazing.
It
You
was.
said it was inspiring. So you guys, please go ahead and share this segment. You don't want to, and let your young people hear it too, because I'm still older than Jeff, but I mean, I just feel like he's still young and fly. I'm gonna call him
I was
old.
about to say, Nisha, you what we call seasoned. You're not older, okay? Because these little fashionable glasses shit you got. Cousin always been a dresser. She been a fashionista since I was a little one. So
So nice.
you ain't gonna date yourself. I ain't gonna let you do that. But
Thank you.
you
But
seasoned.
thank you so much for joining me today.
My
This was
pleasure.
so great. You guys follow Jeff on Facebook, on Instagram, I guess on Twitter. You probably can find him on LinkedIn and everywhere. But
Absolutely.
jeffthehost@gmail.com, skylevel52@yahoo.com, and you can go ahead and reach him, or you can reach out to me if you're looking for the ultimate host for your next event.
Absolutely. I do
Contact
bar
Sky Level
mitzvahs, I do weddings, I do whatever. We do a little consultation, so it don't feel like it's only a family thing. So again,
Right.
out of those almost 20 weddings that I've done, some of these people where I've met for the first time, and we'll have a consultation where we sit down and you guys tell me a story about being in love and how you met and everything like that. And I promise you, you guys will have a ball at the reception. And again, whatever it is, I've done church events, I've done concerts, comedy shows, whatever it is. If you need a host and MC, I'm your person.
Yes. Well, this has been so rich and so good. And we coming to a close. So I want to say thank you so much. This has been a great gift to have you on. And I can't wait till 2023 till we do it again. And we're going to have to talk marketing anyway, because maybe there's some bigger things on the horizon. I need to hire Sky Level Enterprises. Okay. Nisha's
Absolutely.
we about to do that. Okay.
We
All
can't
right.
talk about Nisha's network if we ain't networking. So absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much,
Thank
cousin.
you.
Hang
I love
tight.
you.
Until next time, you guys join us this coming Saturday. We're going to have another amazing guest, and we will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, evening.
Love you. Thanks again.
Connect and vibe, connect and vibe, connect and vibe, connect and vibe.